I am overwhelmed with joy and gratefulness for this moment, for this opportunity to be before you and speak today. I would first like to thank my amazing leadership and mentors who serve with me at the Department of Human Resources. Director Maxwell, Quelly Sneed, the Dean of City University and Career Pathways, and Christina Savoy, the Chief Learning Officer of the City Center for Learning and Development. With that being said, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all in attendance and those that are joining us virtually. Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. My name is Kiana Royster. I serve as the program specialist in the City University and Career Pathways program. I stand before you as a Washingtonian, born in Ward 7 and currently reside in Ward 8. I am a true testament to the successes of the virtual hiring events. I have, within the last few months, gained employment with DC government. From the moment I walked in the door, I could tell that the district was a culture that appreciates, supports, and encourages professional development. Now, with one foot firmly against the door and its frame, I can say I have arrived. And with one foot in the door, I know that the possibilities are endless for me with DC government. I have always wanted to work for an organization where my personal values were aligned with my work environment. My purpose in life is to serve, help others, be an advocate and a trailblazer to the opportunities that I wish I could have had as a teenager growing up in the district. I take great pride in living and working right here where I grew up. So, if you have a heart for serving your public, don't miss your calling. Go to dc.gov/join our team. This is your opportunity to get into DC government, allow your skills, your knowledge, and your experience to speak for itself. The virtual hiring event was an easy application and onboarding experience I've ever experienced in my life. I registered, submitted my resume, chatted with hiring managers, interviewed, and was hired on the spot, all virtually. The process being virtual took some of the edge off and allowed me to be myself in a relaxed environment. So without further ado, I would like to personally thank Mayor Bowser for continuing to make an overall investment in district resident recruitment, for answering the call, and for standing firm on creating pathways for the middle class. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you the Honorable Mayor of Washington, D.C., Madam Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Thank you, Kiana.
My pleasure.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much.
Let's give Kiana a big round of applause and a big welcome aboard to DC government. I am pleased to be here this afternoon to talk about what we are doing to make sure we have great teammates here on Team DC Government. I am joined today by the Director of DCHR, Lindsay Maxwell, and we are going to be signing legislation that authorizes bonuses and pay increases for approximately 8,000 DC government employees. These pay increases follow the agreement we recently signed in March. Many of you were with us in the lobby of the John Wilson building upstairs. And we signed that agreement with our labor partners, compensation units 1 and 2, which represent almost 10,000 DC government employees. I am grateful for their continued dedication and hard work, and the hard work of all of our employees. Our whole community saw the dedication of DC government employees throughout this pandemic, and I see it each and every day. When I'm in this building, our buildings across the city, city and when I encounter our workers in all 8 wards in our community. This past weekend, we saw another example of that commitment when our employees worked throughout the weekend when I activated a heat emergency. Public servants were opening pools and splash pads and responding to emergencies and making sure that the government kept on working. So the legislation that I am assigning today applies to non-unionized workers in the district. And it includes a retroactive pay increase of 1.5% for fiscal year 2022, a 3.5% one-time retroactive bonus for fiscal 2022, and a 2.5% pay increase for the upcoming fiscal year, fiscal 23. This impacts, as I mentioned, DC government workers who are not a part of a collective bargaining unit, including our managers. So in addition to authorizing these pay increases, I also, as you heard from Kiana, want to amplify that DC government is hiring. We are a great place to work. We have great pay and benefits. You are rewarded for your hard work in DC government, and we pride ourselves on being a diverse workplace. You will remember that throughout all of 2020 and 2021, when COVID caused a lot of uncertainty in the world, we did not miss a single paycheck or have any layoffs or cuts to service in DC government. So I want to encourage everybody, just like Kiana did, to look out at all of the ways that we are hiring, including our virtual hiring fairs. For August, we will have a summer job fair on August 11 and 12. We will be hiring for more than 1,000 positions in DC government. And this week, on Thursday and Friday, DCHR Center for Learning and Development will host 2 seminars in preparation for that hiring event. They'll also host a 3rd seminar on August the 5th. So during those seminars, hiring managers will help you get your resume ready, prepare you for your interviews, and give tips for the best ways to navigate the hiring fair. Okay, so I gave 5 very important dates to remember. The preparation fairs that are going to be coming up at DCHR's Learning and Development, 3 days, and the hiring events themselves on August 11th and 12th. So please go to DCHR to find out how you can participate. So with that, I'm going to turn it to our Director of DCHR, Lindsay Maxwell.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. I want to begin by recognizing and thanking all district government employees, my coworkers, those who go above and beyond the call of duty every day to serve the greater good. As we all know, Washington, D.C. is a growing and prospering city, and with more than 700,000 residents, we have an unwavering opportunity to attract and develop the nation's most talented and diverse pool of qualified candidates, our residents. To keep up with this growth, we continuously focus on making sure that we hire from that pool to advance our DC values and ensure residents and prospective employees can afford to live and thrive in DC, as well as deliver high-quality services to all district residents of this great city. With that said, I encourage every DC resident to register to get pre-screened for our summer hiring event. Registration begins on July 29th and continues through August 7th. We have 17 DC government agencies participating in the fair this time around, with over 1,000 vacancies up for grabs. And these vacancies are in every facet of our government, from public safety to education to budget, human services, and planning and economic development. If you ever wanted to join our team, this is a win-win for DC residents, veterans, and foster care recipients, because you actually get preference over everybody else if you choose to take it. We look forward to finding new ways to engage with and service DC residents. So for more information, please visit our website at dc.gov/join our team. And I look forward to answering any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll take a few press questions, and then I'm going to sign the legislation. Any questions? Yes, Mark.
Is this unusual to have this many job openings? Is there a reason that you have this many job openings? Or is this just kind of par for the course?
I'll ask Lindsay or Kevin to respond to what we typically have at this time, but you will remember that we added quite a few positions to the budget over the last budget period. And we see new positions in DBH, new positions in DHS, new positions all across the government. So some of the hiring that we're doing is in preparation for the start of the new fiscal year on October the 1st. But I'll ask either Kevin or Lindsay to talk about other vacancies.
To answer your question, it's not an unusually high number of vacancies given this time of year, getting ready to go into a new fiscal year. I don't have the specific numbers to give you, but we can get them for you on what we normally carry. But as the mayor just said, this is a combination of many factors.
And then is there a particular cluster or area where you have like the most job openings? Are they spread out rather equally between these 17 agencies, or?
They're spread out relatively equally.
And then we're hearing about some jurisdictions that are seeing an exodus in workers, particularly teachers. Is that fueling this at all?
I
seen that here in DC?
Sure. I can't speak to that specifically. I don't have the numbers to speak to that specifically.
The teachers aren't in this.
Teachers aren't part of the job fair, though.
They're not.
They're not. No,
DCPS.
they're not.
Okay.
So DCPS hires for teachers directly. And my last report was that they saw about the same number of teachers not returning as in previous years. Yep.
Could you give us an update on monkeypox? We heard about a child being infected. Can you update us on the latest numbers of cases, latest numbers of doses available, when you'll be able to start administering more vaccines?
Well, the number of doses, Mark, thanks for the question, hasn't changed from the last time I gave a report. DC Health, when they get an update from the CDC, we will provide that information. They are going to provide a fulsome briefing during a town hall that DC Health is co-hosting with the Washington Blade, and that's today, I believe.
And that's where we should get our latest updates.
That's where DC Health is going to provide all of the latest numbers.
And then speaking of DC Health, are you any closer? Can you remind us Dr. Nesbitt's last day, and are you any closer to naming is it an interim director that you name? Or
yes, Mark, I will be naming an interim director. Actually, we'll likely share that information tomorrow. And yes, and then we will have a full search for the director of DC Health.
And that's somebody internally?
It will be an internal named as interim, correct.
Thanks.
Okay, yes.
Judy Barnett, WTOP News. Is that child diagnosed with monkeypox? Are they in DC? Do we know their location?
At last report, yes. The family was traveling and traveled to DC, and I believe that they were going to stay in DC during the recuperation time.
Oh, so they're not from DC, they're in DC right now?
That's correct.
Okay.
Is the child hospitalized?
I don't believe the child is hospitalized.
Are there any other further actions the city is taking to make sure that when tracking this child, there was no spread of monkeypox? I know it's hard to hear.
I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Are there any precautions the city is taking to make sure as this child is quarantined, that who they came in contact with, that those people, the contact list is being reached out to?
Yes, ma'am. So immediately upon this diagnosis, there was a complete contract tracing done.
Can I just follow up on contact tracing? I'm just wondering, given the need for contact tracing now with monkeypox, if perhaps you might revisit the decision to lay off the contact tracing workers who were hired for COVID. Do you think that was a mistake getting rid of them, or do you think you're going to need to rehire and build up a new contact tracing force?
DC Health has not come to that conclusion at this stage. We know that people, and let me just use this as an opportunity to remind everybody to contact their physician if they're displaying any symptoms or think they may have some skin condition that could be monkeypox. They should isolate, contact their doctor, and get treatment. All eligible, please go to our website at preventmonkeypox.dc.gov to find out how you can get pre-registered for the vaccine, which we believe is an effective vaccine. And that is how we will isolate incidents of monkeypox. And Mark, should there be any need for additional personnel at DC Health, we have the ability to scale that up. Okay, let's sign the legislation. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just following up on the contact tracing workers. Somebody texted me during the press conference saying that some of those contact tracing people have been laid off or having trouble collecting unemployment. Are you aware of that? Is there anything being done to help those people if they're having trouble getting?
I'm not aware of that, Mark, but certainly we want to encourage them to be in touch with the Department of Employment Services. We also want to encourage them to participate in the hiring fair. Just finished talking about 1,000 DC government positions that we need, and we want to encourage people to apply for them. Director Maxwell mentioned, but it bears repeating, that DC residents have a hiring preference. And so as you go to apply, look up what the DC residency preference entails so that you can avail yourself of that. We want people to be able to live close to where they work, and we want DC residents to join our team. And you heard Kiana mention this, this is one way we build our middle class, by hiring people that live here, pay taxes here, send their kids to our schools, and live close to the people that they serve. And so we want to continue to ask people to be involved.
Madam Mayor, can you give any unidentified details about the child?
I cannot.
How old are they?
I cannot. I've said all I'm going to say about that.
Anyone on your staff, Mr. Donahue, or anyone who may be able to shed more light on the unemployment problem with the contact tracing?
Nobody said there was an unemployment problem, Mark.
I'm hearing from people that there might be.
Okay, well, we will find out about that, but we're not aware of any unemployment problem.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.